Let's rewind. Let's go back to pre-pandemic. So 2019, I was kind of in a weird spot with No Jumper where the store thing, we already knew we were ending the store thing. There's a variety of reasons for that. We still want to do a store at some point, but the store thing was kind of ending, and that was a big part of the identity of No Jumper, is that it's this store.
Yeah, you could pull up on Melrose.
Exactly. And you know, like crazy shit was happening. Like you just have motherfuckers posting up, playing guitar on the fucking corner,
Right.
people pulling up and rapping in front,
Fucking
and like
J. Cole coming by.
yeah,
Oh,
and like
don't forget the guns.
the guy who ran down on me on the gun was a huge thing, and then the guy shows up the next day with a gun, and it was just, think about how crazy that transformation was for me, where I went from 2017, I was able to be in front of that store just chilling on some regular shit, and nobody would stop. Once in a blue moon, somebody would stop, take a photo with me, whatever, because of the interviews and stuff. But for the most part, I could just hang out, and it was all good. But then by the end, by 2019, it's like I gotta have fucking security. It's like I gotta have the homies with guns near me and shit. Like that just changed so much. And so we got another spot. We had another office that we were using throughout a large part of 2019 that some people will remember. And then coming into 2020, it's like the world kind of shuts down, and it all of a sudden becomes a lot harder for us to do our normal bread and butter of just cranking out interviews, right? And also, like, anybody who really pays attention to rap will be able to tell you that, like, 2019 or 2020 was not 2016 or 2017.
Right.
2016, 2017, I had a constant flow of new, exciting rappers that people were dying to see me have conversations with, you know? And, like, going into 2019, we're still getting some good interviews and stuff around that time, but it's also occurring to me, like, I can't focus my whole business on just interviewing rappers because it's not consistent enough. And there's all kinds of weird shit happening. You know, you can't control that. Like when you want to talk to a certain rapper, sometimes they got a friend who don't like you, or they want them to go do this other thing. When I started doing interviews with underground rappers, let's be real, there was like hardly anyone doing interviews with underground rappers. I felt like I was barely competing with anyone at that time, because you would have some radio stations and stuff. The radio station was like totally checked out on the underground
on
dudes.
that niche.
Vlad, I saw Vlad acknowledge the other day that, like, me coming in the game like that was partially due to the fact that Vlad didn't really pick up on what was happening with the SoundCloud shit until it was a little bit too late, you know? And now Vlad is somebody who's like probably a lot more open to interviewing a new up and coming rapper, where he wasn't necessarily thinking about that in 2016 or whatever. So, you know, we're going into the pandemic. We got to figure out something to do. And AD was someone we had already done a meeting with about working together, right? We had even done like a little test thing, him and this fucking random girl. It was not great because him and her were just awkward on camera. It was kind of weird, but you know, we decided when we got, because okay, so going into the pandemic, we got an offer to start a Snapchat news show, right? So I'm like, I need somebody to talk to. AD seems like he would be a pretty good fit. I'm gonna fucking holler at him. And so then all of a sudden, 2-3 days a week, me and AD are in the office doing the news together. So that's really like what we got started on. We weren't necessarily even going to do a podcast together or anything. It was just the news.
Right.
And so he's like super green to it because he just has never really done the podcaster thing. It was the news. But, you know, so meanwhile, we don't really have anything fucking going on. We have interviews here and there, but it's the pandemic. So it's like super terrible in that regard. And then over time, we start building a better relationship and, you know, doing stuff on camera. But over time, it also started to feel like the more people that I brought in, the more drama it was creating. And it's like a lot of people have the idea that the drama makes me a lot of money. And that is really like not how this works. You know, like if I look at our analytics right now, yesterday was probably one of the most dramatic, craziest fucking days in the history of No Jumper. And our analytics barely fucking budged. You know, it's like that shit. It's more like it's good content and it's a good amount of views for other people. It's not necessarily us. The Milk 7-4s of the world, they will get some views off talking about some shit that happened on here. But for us, like our catalog is like we're gonna do like 500,000 views like every day on YouTube based on just our back catalog. You know, like us introducing fucking all this drama and stuff barely fucking moves the needle for us. Like it's not something where I want this shit to happen. It's not like I'm motivated for it to happen. Really, like my goal for No Jumper is I just want to create a cast of people that I can talk to, that I can do different episodes with, and that other, you know, like in a perfect world that we'd be able to create other shows like At the End of the Day where I'm not on camera and everything. And for the content to largely kind of stop when the camera stops rolling, you know, where I don't really like for me at this point, my life is so different because when I talk about that beginning of the pandemic, I was broke. Like I was in debt. because I had a previous business partner who really fucked me over and basically like over $1 million in terms of like leftover tax bill that I fucking had to deal with. So, everybody probably was looking at me in 2020 like I had this dope business going on. In reality, it's like I was having to grind so fucking hard because I was digging myself out of a hole. And that's around the time the AD came around. And, soon after that, thanks to like various social networking stuff and getting better, getting brand deals, all this stuff, we got to the point where the business was operating in a much better way. But I also like slowly just started to feel like I was kind of out of control with it, where it was just so much shit was happening and it wasn't necessary. Like, like I'm sure everybody has seen it, where it's like this thing that I'm describing where we could just kind of have good conversations here and then just move on and like, go home and have our lives be kind of like separate from this. That slowly just started to seem like less and less of an actual opportunity. Look at, I thought it was Duno, his icon. Sorry.
Oh shit.
Sorry.
Just don't know.
I really thought it was him. I'm like, this is awkward. I'm talking about Duno right now. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm at a different place in my life where all this drama shit just seems so fucking useless to me. And given like how yesterday played out, it's like I'm really just trying to think like, okay, how do I pivot this shit so that I can come in, make content, have conversations that I enjoy, and not have to fucking deal with just all this insanity that comes with it.
Yeah, it feels like it's the type of shit that you guys, everyone's taking home with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like like, you think about the Flacco situation or, some of these fights. It just, even the rap battle shit. It was like that shit kind of got personal. You know what I mean? Like